Yo, yo. Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? What is up? It's been an eventful last 24 hours, has it not? Welcome to the stream, everybody. I am Uche, Nwaneri, your Observant Lineman. And this is, we're living in a post Snydercut world. A post Snydercut world. Snydercut's dropped today. I watched it yesterday. I watched it at like 3 a.m. And then watched it again right after that. And it was a masterpiece in my eyes. It was definitely a masterpiece, and it was just something that I think we all can agree that this was something that should have been the only version of the Justice League to be released. Zack Snyder did something truly amazing in making this movie and presenting it in a way, especially, now with our Snyder Cut, his true vision being out there for the world to see. And man, it was special. It really was. It was a special, special thing to see, to behold. And gotta love it. I mean, I absolutely loved it. And I really do believe that, this is a moment for celebration. It's a moment for celebration for everybody who has witnessed just the countless times that studios have interfered with the vision of directors. Studios have interfered with the path that a story is taking to try and play to what they think is more something more digestible by audiences. This is a 4-hour movie that felt nothing like a 4-hour movie. I didn't get up from my couch watching this the whole time. It was well shot. I mean, the beginning of it, and look, fair warning for anybody who hasn't seen it, you probably are going to be getting some mild spoilers in this. I'm not gonna go through every little detail of it, but I'm going to just kind of hit some of the major beats. There is, in my opinion, one scene in particular that is so mind-blowing. I will not talk about that scene. I mean, anybody who's seen it, they'll know what that scene is. I'm not going to talk about it because that was truly like a bone-chilling moment in the movie. I'll stay away from that. I'll stay away from things in the last act. And I will kind of just go over my general thoughts on it. I'm going to try and be I'm going to try and keep as little amount of spoilers in this as possible. I don't want to do too much in regards to that. And then also on top of that, I know everybody wants to hear from me regarding a lot of the stuff that happened last night on the stream. I'll talk a little bit about that, but again, it's the day after. And perspective should be much more in tune with reality today for many people who want it to be. And those who don't, it won't be. There ain't nothing I can do about that, and I'm not going to try and change anybody's mind. So, with that being said, man, this movie in its first initial moments, you already know that you're getting a different movie. And that's what I loved about this. This was literally like, this was not the same movie that many of us so begrudgingly saw in 2017. It's just not the same movie. It's not the same movie. And, to be honest, I think this is really confirmation in the fact that, it's when you don't have people who make decisions at the top who understand the nuance and understand the lore and understand the many different creative aspects that go into making a film. When those kind of people are not making decisions, you get what we saw in 2017. You get you get fast food, the fast food version of a movie. And that was really what that movie was about. Because when you watch the Snyder Cut, when you watch all of this movie and go through it, there's so much more. There's so many layers. And I spoke to Zack about that early on before we, when I first had, my first few conversations with him. I told him, I expressed to him that my thoughts on his movie making was, my impressions were always that there were a lot of layers in his movies that go over people's heads because, people aren't expecting to have to actually think in their movies, to have to piece things together in their movies. A lot of times people want things to be spoon-fed to them. A lot of times people really are, really want to turn their brains off instead of, actually, processing the information, absorbing it, processing it, and then categorizing it. These are psychological concepts that, me as a psych major, I can look at and see where these things are starting to be, brought into the narrative of the movie. So just from the outset, it's an amazing start. It's an amazing start. And, it's at the end of the day, you go through it. Cyborg's story, beautiful. Cyborg had a beautiful story. They had a beautiful telling of an individual who starts the movie very bitter, very just stuck in a dark spot in his mind, because now he is really a changed person, and his story is fleshed out so well, and I really did feel that he was truly the heart of the movie, and I really looked at him and could feel for him in his story arc. It really brought a lot of depth to the character, brought a lot of depth to the situation. But we got a super chat here. Geeky Pixie for $5. She says, I applaud you for how you handled situation. You have the patience of a true Jedi master. I am seeing the movie in less than an hour. I'm excited. Thank you very much, Geeky Pixie. Yeah. Last night, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. Last night, and again, there are things that people don't know and people don't understand. And I'm not here. I don't owe anybody any explanation beyond how I see things. You can call me a sellout. You can call me whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, I understand how to process information. I understand how to digest it and how to categorize it in a way to know where intent lies. If you can't do that, then I guess I'm a sellout. So be it. But thank you, Geeky Pixie, for $5. Angry Trot Bowl for a Canadian 10. He says, congrats on the charity stream. You helped so many people. Can't fault you for not pushing back. Could have maybe clarified things. Could have made things worse. At that point, it was a no-win scenario. I think that is a very nuanced perspective, and that's great. That's a great way to put it. Thank you. Xenomorph for $5. He says, Uche is a fake. He's a woke sellout. Sure, he is rich, but he bent the knee to people that think he is a chump. Bravo. Okay. Cool, Boomer. Okay, Boomer. Whatever. Don't care. Dude, what is bending the knee? Being smart and not ruining a charity stream? Yeah. I'm not going to ruin a stream that is focused on providing a fundraiser for suicide prevention for people who are in dark spots in their world. Not going to do that. That would be what we call stupid. That would be counterproductive. Not going to do that. Just makes no sense. Anyways, but appreciate the money. I really do. Appreciate the $5. But let's continue on. Let's talk about the Snyder Cut. And I hope you guys don't mind. I got a blackened mouth here. Look, it's been a stressful 24 hours. I'm going to light this thing up. We're going to talk and we're going to keep going. So, you know, you start off and you get a true telling of Cyborg's origins, and I thought his origin, the fleshing out of his origins, was so beautifully done. You know, his father, Silas Stone, in the movie, who's played by the guy, I can't forget the guy's name, but he's from Terminator 2. He's like one of the most legendary actors, like character actors from the 90s, and he was in Terminator 2. I always think of him from that movie, but that guy did such a wonderful job, and I really he really did provide an emotional layer for Cyborg to latch onto, and eventually that played out in a way that really did get me in the feels a little later on in the movie. But yeah, you know, Cyborg's origins, I loved it. I loved how it was presented. You know, he is the digital god in a world of ones and zeros. And that's alluding to this digital age. He can control anything with anything from, you know, an ATM machine to the entire nuclear arsenal of the world with a thought. And you can see throughout the course of the movie where his confidence in that begins to build. And he really does, and almost to the point of angry arrogance. He knows how powerful he is. He knows how powerful he's becoming. And, you know, it really did give so much more to that character compared to what you saw in, you know, in the theatrical trailer, which, I mean, really had him on the sidelines. He really, you know, he wasn't really that involved in the major beats of the film. Colonel Useless for $1.99. Colonel Useless says, have you spoken to Snyder at all? Yes, I have. Spoke to Zack this morning. I understand far more than anybody who was talking about this entire situation last night on Twitter. And I got confirmation of what I knew, what was what, from him this morning. So take it for what it's worth. You know, I understand that this internet world that we live in is a little bit, can be very reactionary, and there's a lot of optics that's concerned with this community. And look, before I even go any further into this, man, big shout out to Lethal Lightning. Big shout out to Ryan Kennel. You know, I love those guys to death. Big shout out to Jeremy. Love Jeremy to death. You know, we busted our ass for that stream last night, and we really did do something amazing for a lot of people. And I think that is what should stay at the front of people's minds as we move through a lot of this, because really that's what this was all about. This was all about raising money for people who you know, for a cause that a lot of people are touched by, and a lot of people have dealt with or know people who have dealt with those circumstances. So, you know, truly an amazing job by the community coming to bat, regardless of the controversy. An amazing job. And I have nothing but love and respect for everybody in our community who recognizes what this is really about. I don't have, my ego is not so big as to allow myself to literally take an opportunity like that and flip it around so that I can stand on some molehill with my fist in the air and say, I did this or I did that. Now, fuck that. It's not what this shit is about. Shit is about helping people. If you can't see that, then that's on you. I got nothing else to say in that regard. But let's take a look at some more super chats here. Let's see. And guys, you know, you're gonna have to bear with me on some of this because you know, the super chat thing, I'm starting to get used to it because I'm a little bit of a newbie with keeping up with it. I tend to ramble sometimes, and when I get to rambling, you know, when I get to rambling, I get to rambling. So let's see here. That's what my ADD does to me. Let's see here. Super chat from, oh, that just skipped up. What the heck? Okay, here we go. Super chat from Storytelling Ron for $5. Storytelling Ron, thank you very much. He says, Zack started with a nervous disclaimer, but after that, he was grateful. Gave you all credit. He came on. Wow, I loved it. Yeah, thank you, Storytelling Ron. Yeah, he came on, and look, I guess, you know, it's unavoidable, so we might as well transition into this. I talked to Zack this morning. And I asked for clarity. I asked for clarity for the fans. And matter of fact, because I don't, you know, I know he won't mind that I read the text that I sent him before I talked to him. Let's see here. I said, Zack, what's up? I would like to confirm some things with you because there are fans asking for clarity, and I want to give them clarity. And I said, give me a call when you get a chance. I'll be brief and we can talk about the issue. Talk to Zack, and, you know, Zack said these were two separate statements that were not connected. Now look, before I even say that, I will take this as and own up to this being my fault. In regards to the charity auction website, I have a group of media people who I do work with, and they set up the charity website to link straight into eBay for the stream. And, you know, it was a lot going on yesterday in the lead up to the stream, me getting ready for it, me, you know, reaching out and getting different people with a ton of fanfare to tweet out about what we were doing. And in that, when I initially took a look at the auction website, I breezed through it as I'm clicking from tab to tab, keeping up with Twitter, keeping up with sending out information, sending out tweets, reaching out to people. You know, a lot of people who did an amazing job in spreading the word. I mean, Diamond Dallas Page, Jake the Snake Lawler, David Ayer, all of these people were retweeting out this charity stream. Grace Randolph, big shout out to Grace Randolph, Queen. You know, she did a great job. About an hour before we started the stream, putting it out there. These are people who don't, you know, I mean, I know DDP, but these are people who, you know of me and, you know, respect me enough to spread the word. You know, David Ayer retweeted it out. I mean, come on, guys. That's huge. The NFL, the National Football League, retweeted my stream tweet. That was absolutely huge. That has a reach of 26.4 million people. You know, there was a real genuine effort to spread the word about this because it was for a cause that, you know, is obviously a great cause. So, you know, it was really, really an amazing thing. And in that, I did not, you know, take a clear look at the auction website. Now, before all of this, you know, when I reached out to Zack, and when we were, and like I said before, when we were speaking about doing this charity fundraiser, you know, the Geeks and Gamers situation had been discussed on numerous occasions between me, Zack, Jeremy, Ryan, and Lethal. Like these were things that we knew. You know, it was being done on my channel, and what the heck? Oh, my brother just texted me. He just saw the Snyder cut. He's like, "Woo! That was pretty damn good." But we, you know, we understood that, you know, look, if this is gonna be on my stream, you know, this was me connecting with Zack, and Zack wanted, you know, and at the end of the day, we decided this was gonna be on my stream. This was because of the optics game, as so many like to jump on. They did not want the charity stream to be directly, officially associated with the Geeks and Gamers brand, because it was something that was agreed to between me and Zack, and boom, whatever misconceptions or whatever misleadings there are about Geeks and Gamers, which there is plenty, we are looked at in a way that is not favorable to the Hollywood crowd. Which, hey, I don't get into that shit, because I'm me. I represent myself in regards to how I view those things and how I view those topics of discussion in the YouTube world. That's not, I'm not a bandwagon hopper, and I'm not, you know, a clout chaser, and I'm not chasing clicks. I'm doing it because I'm part of a team where we're trying to, you know, do something good and do something to help show that the community is, you know, a great community. So, of course, there has to be, once we agree to that, there's now a legal obligation to make sure that that's upheld. And that's my fault. I didn't see that, because it didn't register to me. And had I seen that, I would have made sure that the Geeks and Gamers logo was not on the charity auction site. That's where a lot of grief came from. And, you know, however you feel about it, that's fine. You know, I don't have, you know, it's neither here nor there for me. We agreed to operate in that, with that understanding. So that was on me. So Zack had to make that clear. Just like when you watch the late night infomercial TV shows, and right before those infomercial TV shows start, you see that message that pops up that this is an independent show, and its views are not that of the channel and the network. That is essentially what Zack had to come out and say. And he said that. And then from there, he had to go into another statement, which, for people who don't quite understand, that statement is a statement that is being used across all platforms, which is what Zack told me on the phone this morning. He said, if you go and watch the red carpet premiere, Kevin Smith said the exact same statement that he said to start the premiere. Before getting into anything, he said, hey, before we start this, just want to bring awareness to, you know, the situation and the events that happened here in my city, in Atlanta, and the violent acts that happened at a place that I know we're all, with that shooting that happened the other day in Atlanta, here in my city. Like, I know where that place is, because it's right on the very same street, on this very same block as my old club that I had here in Atlanta for 8 years. I know where those places are, and I know That's something that's very close to home. Very close to home. So as soon as Zack started talking about that, I knew what he was talking about. So, that's what it is. But yes, I talked to Zack, and, he gave, I didn't think there was really a need for clarity. If you actually listened and processed what he said, that's just the way it is. But, hey, can't expect everybody to see things the same way that I see them, or the same way that they are. Let's see here. $10 super chat from Clever Youth. Clever Youth says, shout out to Uche. I don't think it needs to be this deep at all with this controversy. None of us really know what is happening behind the scenes, other than the folks who are in the know. It's great perspective there. Thank you, Clever Youth. But yeah, I spoke to Zack, and those were the same thing that I said, the same sentiments that cats like the quartering. Big shout out to the quartering. Look, I give the quartering shit on Twitter. Some of it is me trolling, truth be told. Some of it is me having a real, trying to present a real, counterpoint and asking. Now, in his video, he said I'm a far leftist. I don't even know what a leftist is. For a person who is socially liberal, but fiscally very much about small businesses, very much about not being taxed as a small business person in a overbearing manner. Not sure where that puts me on the sphere, or in the grand scheme of this thing we call left or right. I feel like people should live their lives how they want to, and you shouldn't be telling people how to live their lives. And I feel like as a business owner, let me make some profits. Don't really want to be taxed. Let me make some profits. That's me in a nutshell. I'm not into identity politics. I don't give a fuck about genders. I don't give a fuck about necessarily I guess, I don't know what, diversity. I deal with people. I don't deal with necessarily politics. I'm not friends with people for their politics. I'm friends with people for whether I feel like I'm cool with them or not. And the funny thing about it is that most of my friends are conservative. Most of my really good friends who I truly will fucking go to bat for, I'll jump in front of a bullet for, don't agree with me politically. Jeremy's like a brother to me. Me and Jeremy are for real bros. We don't agree on shit politically, but I love the guy. And I can argue with that dude for 2 hours viciously. And at the very moment we stop arguing, hey man, let's get on this stream. Let's do some Mario Kart. It's all good. All good. So I don't really understand the whole, leftist thing. I don't, but whatever. Let's see here. But yeah, so I spoke with him, and he gave me that clarity on that. Now, look, let's be real here. Zack Snyder's not going to put a statement up to give clarity about anything, because why should he? If you go and look at the red carpet premiere and see that the same statement that he said in our stream was the same statement that Kevin Smith said in the red carpet premiere, that is corroboration of the fact that these are two different statements, that are not associated with one another in any way. So, that is what it is. That is what it is. Let's see here. Dan of Steel for $2. He says, I understand your frustration, Uche. Stay strong. Thank you, Dan of Steel. Thank you. Zack Richmond for $5. He says, y'all did a great thing last night, helping people. You're all heroes in my book, full stop. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Zack. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Rob Brantz for Canadian $2. He says, congrats on raising as much money as you guys did. Look, guys, it was amazing. I mean, look, I was humbled by this. I've been humbled by this entire experience as far as, the money that we've raised for AFSP. just simply because, you know, in the world that I come from, a lot of people, when they talk about raising money, to me, they're talking about, will you donate money? Like I usually am handing out money in that regard. And to see, especially with this last year, with so many things that have gone on in the last year that have hurt people's pockets, you know what I mean? Like people's pockets have been, you know, everybody's pockets have been a little bit changed by the situations of the last year. So, you know, I can definitely understand if people aren't able to, you know, donate like that, but you people came to bat. You people came to bat, and that to me is so much love, and deserves to be truly acknowledged. You know, you guys did an amazing job there. You guys did an amazing job there. For people who understand, you know, the importance of this cause, I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because that's what matters the most to me in all of this. I'm not in this for people's clicks. I'm not in this for people's super chats. I'm not in this for people's clout. I don't need none of that. I've done enough in my life to have as much clout as a person could ever want from my own perspective. I don't, you know, I know how to use my brand to try and, you know, help in any way that I can. So, you know, I really do appreciate every one of you guys who found it in your heart to donate. You know, the Geeks and Gamers community did an amazing thing, and that should not go unheard or unseen. That's really the bottom line of it all. You know, so you guys are amazing in that regard. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Oh man, how do let me keep up with these dang super chats, man. Okay, where does this start? So right here. Boom. Am I missing something? Okay. All right. Yuri Fyodorik, 20, I think that's Russian 20, maybe. Ruble. $20. Thank you very much for that. Let me see here. Oh. Okay. Boom. Okay, that's better. Now I got it. Boniface Onyakaba. Is that a Niger? Is that Niger there? Oh, Nwaneri. Ha ha ha! There you go. Yep, got me a little Nigerian love in here. Nwaneri, I hail you. Sorry for the stressful situation yesterday. Proud of what you accomplished together. Thank you very much, Onyakaba. Thank you very much. Jeremy D-Day Cobra, $10 super chat. Hashtag Geeks and Gamers. Hashtag Geeks and Gamers indeed. Now I saw somebody on here said something about why is my Geeks and Gamers hashtag not in my Twitter. Oh, well, again, that's because when I got a phone call from Zack Snyder asking, hey, what's going on with, why is there still a Geeks and Gamers thing on your stream? I started going through everything that I knew about my entire profile to see what he was talking about. And I took it off because I thought maybe that's what they're talking about. I was on the phone with Zack for about 15 minutes, you know, going through all this stuff during the stream last night. So I was going through trying to get done what we had agreed to get done. But, you know, I'll show you guys right here so you guys can see it. This is my profile right here. Save. Boom. Happy hater? Thank you. All right, let's get back to it. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, it was it was a dope stream. It was a really dope stream. Ray Porter comes into the stream. You know, it's funny because Ray Porter, I connected with him a couple days before that, and you know, and I asked him, hey man, you know, I know you went on Dave the Film Junkie's vodka stream. Big shout out to Dave. Vodka stream was fucking great. I think I'm probably gonna jump on that one again when they're ready to do a spoiler talk on the Snyder Cut. But you know, I hollered at him. I said, hey man, you know, I know you know, Zack kind of jumped in and surprised you when you were on the vodka stream. Would you like to, you know, come in and do the same thing while we're doing this charity stream? And he was like, hell yeah. And Ray Porter is a hell of a dude, man. Ray Porter is a hell of a guy. Showed so much, you know, he was such a gentleman and showed so much just a goodwill to me. And, you know, we had a, you know, great conversation and he came through. And truly, you know, came in and brought a whole new element. Because look, you know, I don't think there's any fooling anyone to say, you know, in saying that when that happened, that kind of knocked a lot. That derailed things, like just the mood, and you know, because there was confusion there, and. You know, when Ray Porter came in, I think he really gave a great shot in the arm to the stream, brought the energy back up, and you know, we went from there, and it really turned out to be a very good, very earnest portion, you know, of the stream that we started to get into a lot of things about the movie, and you know, we got Ray Porter to drop that dark side voice. And say, restore the Snyderverse. Man, he was awesome. He was so awesome. Love Ray Porter. Appreciate him for that. But it was truly a great thing, that we did yesterday. And a lot of you people are you know, proved that you really are a very, very dedicated community, and you know, you have my gratitude in that. You have my gratitude in that, 100%. The movie, let's, you know, just kind of get back into the movie. It was just great, dude. It was just great. There were so many epic moments in the movie that you know, really. There were so many moments in the movie that were just really just, it just kind of took your breath away, you know, like this was and again, it comes down to, for me, who decided that this was unwatchable? They said it was unwatchable. Like, it seemed like a pretty easy watch for me, and it seemed like a pretty easy watch for a lot of people. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this thing is still trending. Let me pull up some Twitter here. We'll go through, take a look. Okay, here we go. You know, there was just so much. The Jared Leto's Joker. I mean, that was something that they added on at the end. That was freaking awesome. That was freaking awesome. You know, it was. Oh, there was so many. It felt truly like a DC story, truly like a Justice League story. It was really, really great to see. Really great to see. Superman. I mean, Superman, when he came into the movie, you know, it was Superman felt even stronger and better in a way than you know, he felt in BVS. There was more of that hope. I think that was something that this entire thing was moving towards as we got into it, or as we got into the story arcs, that Superman was going to be that Superman. And Zack found a way to give respect to the lore. He gave respect to these characters in a way that really, you know, you don't see it that much in movies that are in big IPs like this, in in Hollywood anymore. You know, we all know about Star Wars. We all know about how you know, that kind of just fell apart after Force Awakens. But if you look at this DCEU that Zack Snyder was creating, I mean, there was so much attention paid to respecting the characters. The characters began in somewhat of a deconstructed format, and then Zack began to put them back together to be the heroes that we know them to be. Like, if you look at Batman in that movie, that's the Batman that people, you know, felt like Zack was ignoring from BVS. But in BVS, there was really a narrative of the fallen warrior for Batman. He's a fallen warrior. He's somebody who has lost his way, somebody who has, you know, who is on the brink of being, you know, this completely near villain character. He really was, in a way, one of the antagonists of the movie. And, you know, his character begins to see that he's fallen as you get into the later parts of the movie. And then you get into Justice League, and he's now looking to unite. He's now looking to lead. And he truly is, you know, that Justice League Batman, who's maybe not the biggest physical threat, but he is resourceful. He is useful. He provides a level of stability for the team with his mind just as much as his physical abilities. We got Angry Trollbot here, Canadian $5. Angry Trollbot says, having watched the Snyder Cut, I don't think Joss Whedon will ever work again. The epic wide shots and grand scale blew me away. And yeah, I got to agree with you on that. I think that this movie truly did have that Lord of the Rings grand epic feel to it. And that's really something that you know, should never go unnoticed. And another thing, because I see a couple of texts in here or in the chat about Ezra Miller. I thought that Ezra Miller's Flash is like night and day from the Flash of 2017. There's still a little bit of that, you know, there's some comic relief quirkiness there, but very, very like controlled, not just this blabbering, schizophrenic, almost like completely off the rails kind of chatter that made no sense, like in, you know, Joss's version in 2017. This one is he's more in line with the comic book Barry Allen. He's more in line with that. I think just from the essence. The essence of it is more in line with the Flash that we're used to in the comics. Provides a little levity, but also has a seriousness and an understanding of the gravity of the situation that he's in. And, you know, in the third act, oh man. In the third act, I think he shined. I really think Flash shined in the third act. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. But man, I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. He's, you know, he was useful. He was useful, and he really was essential. Let's see here. Checking out the chat. For some of you guys, what were your favorite, you know, what'd you feel? Like, what were your favorite parts? You know, like, what did you guys like in the movie, if you've seen it already? Just let me know. You know, and, you know, just kind of getting back to yesterday, you know, I felt a certain kind of way yesterday. I'm not going to lie. I really did because, hold on. Did I miss somebody's super chat here? Christopher, did I miss your super chat? Let me check real quick. Hold on. Doo-doo. Bum, 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 bum. Let me refresh this real quick. Oh, okay. Here you go. Here you go. I see you. Christopher Arcella for $20. Appreciate that, Christopher. He says, shout out to you, Ryan and Lethal. Mad respect for professionalism and trying to get the focus on the charity, which is the heart of the stream. Shout out also to X-Ray Girl and Ruthie for helping me trying to calm the chat down. Yes, my mods, thank you so much for everyone who was modding yesterday. You guys really did. Damn, I missed a lot of super chats. Damn. What? Streamlabs don't keep up with shit. Yeah, I'm gonna get through these super. I didn't realize that I missed these. I'm on my YouTube, like backstage YouTube stuff now, so it's showing me way more super chats. My bad, y'all. Shit. But you know, the mods did an awesome job. The mods did everything they could to control it. You know, I think there were some provocateurs in the chat who were you know and pushing things along, and you know, it's unfortunate. There are people who are going to be opportunists about this and try and sully me and try and sully geeks and gamers. And that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? That's unfortunate because a misunderstanding only plays into their narrative that they want to push. I mean, people are always wanting to push narratives. People always say the word narrative in this community. I recognize. I haven't been in it that long. I've only been on YouTube for a year, guys. And you know, understanding the lay of the land and the etiquette that people use in this community, for me, has been, you know, it's in a lot of ways, it's counter to things as they are in reality. This is almost fiction in a way to me, the way that some narratives get pushed in this YouTube space. So, you know, there were people who took this opportunity to be an opportunist, to get themselves clicks, to try and get more clout. There are people who haven't had that much in way of relevance lately, and that was their chance, you know, and they jumped on it, and it's unfortunate to me because, you know, people who were working from a genuine disposition, as people who worked their ass off to get this stream put together, you know, to get the auction items put together, you know, took time out of their lives to actually have things made. Ryan Kennel. I mean, look, I understand, you know, people were thrown off by the comments. I get that. I was. People don't. I mean, and I knew they were coming. I knew that the disassociation comment was coming. I knew it was coming. And I tried to communicate that, but it was like literally like bang bang. I'm communicating that, and then 3 minutes later, boom, here he comes into the stream. That's how fast these things were happening in the moment. And yeah, I definitely felt that, and it wasn't that he said, it wasn't anything that Zack said personally. If I'm being 100% honest with y'all right now. Because I knew it was coming. It wasn't that Zack said, you know, we're not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers, and then went into the general statement that the entire platform of his premiere weekend was using because of the events that happened here in Atlanta. It wasn't that really rocked me. It was that I could feel the energy that was lost. I could feel I could feel that gut punch for everybody who didn't see it coming, because I knew it was coming. And there really was, and for guys like Ryan and Lethal, they didn't know that was coming. If they knew that was coming, then I think they would have been able to at least, you know, prepare themselves. I was preparing myself, but at the same time, I literally, while I was not on the stream, when I had taken my camera off and muted my mic, I literally had, you know, was on speakerphone and, you know, on websites and, you know, and then calling my media guys and all these things while you guys are still in the stream and still going through it. And I'm like trying to keep my composure at that moment. And I'm like, fuck, Like, okay, I got to call these cats right now. Hey, y'all got to take the logo off the website. They say it's on the website. They're like, okay, we're going to do that. Then I'm waiting and I'm refreshing and refreshing and refreshing and refreshing on the website. And then I'm calling back my guy. Hey, did you get it down yet? And then I'm refreshing. Get another call from Zack. Hey, did you guys get it down yet? And I'm like, it's getting down. Like, I was fucking going tooth and nail back and forth, just trying to keep things moving along. You know what I mean? Trying to keep things moving along. And and it was the best I could do. I tried to, get the word to Ryan and Jeremy and Lethal. Hey, he's going to have to say something about the logo on the website. And I think only Jeremy saw that. So, it is what it is, man. And look, I just think it's unfortunate that people will take this and run with it in a way that's really not a genuine way to handle things. It's really disingenuous because they're gonna because now this is something for them to get clicks. Man. And for me, that's petty because it ain't never been about that kind of thing for me. I don't do things for attention. I don't. I do things because I want to do them. That's plain and simple. Maybe that's the difference between me and them, is that I'm not, I've done enough of my life to understand, where I'm willing to put my principles and how I'm willing to offer up myself and my integrity, to people. I feel like, all I can be is honest with people, and all I can be is me. You know what I mean? Like, I put a tweet out last night and I was being 100% real. Like, I thought of killing myself before, like, and that's serious. Like, I've been there. Like, I've been there. And for motherfuckers to take all of this that we're doing and working for and to turn it into some bullshit ass anti-SJW culture war, this and that. I mean, I'm not with that. To me, that is the pettiest, to take a stream that is built around, raising awareness, that's built around, bringing attention to real things. Like my mentor, the guy who taught me how to play football on the professional level, died by suicide. Like, that's personal to me. I'm gonna show y'all something. That's my guy. And that's his kids and that's his family. To me, that shit is way bigger than any of this culture war bullshit. It's way bigger than that. And people are going to take that narrative and run with it. And that's what it is. That's really what it is. So I don't care about none of them people that are going to take things and run with them like that. I really don't. I truly don't. From the bottom of my heart. I don't play them games because it's, you know, this is about real life. It's about real life, you know? It's real life. It's people's lives. It's people's lives, man. It's people's lives. And people turn it into politics. And I love Ripper. And I'm not pointing out Ripper and specifically because he knows that I love him. That's where my emotion came from last night when I said what I said on the stream. You know, because to me, to sit there and just listen to motherfuckers just go on this fucking political tirade Hollywood bullshit. And paint me as somebody I'm somebody that's on their side. Not my people, not my Geeks and Gamers people, not them at all. I understood what the look was from my people. I understood that. And that's you know, hey, you know, I may not agree with everything they saying, but I understood that. You know what I mean? People talking about, you know, oh, I would have said something right there. I would have interrupted the stream and respectfully as I could. What is respectfully as I could? I see a lot of these motherfuckers' videos. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, is this really what we is this really where we going with things? Like, you know, it is what it is. And I, you know, I just, you know, I sat there and I listened to it and I listened to everybody on my team talk because they deserve that respect to hear them out and to understand what they're saying. And I did that. I heard everyone out and I listened to everyone out and I listened, you know, down the line and I didn't enter, you know, and I may have, you know, tried to, you know, kind of ask for clarity on some things for myself and what they were saying, but I listened to everybody say their piece, and then, you know, I said what I said from the heart. Like, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, you know, I got so much love for my people, for my Geeks and Gamers squad, because I know that this was a moment. I know that this was a moment I knew that this was a big moment that we were all looking forward to. I knew it was a big moment we was all looking forward to, and you know, and I really did feel for you know, I felt a little bit of guilt in that regard because, you know, I just wanted this night to go right for everybody, and I don't blame Zack Snyder. You know, people say I'm simping this and that. No, I'm not simping. I'm being real about the situation, you know, from my perspective, from how I see things and from how my principles are set and how I operate in my life on a daily basis. You know, I've been in the world where, you know, I played in the NFL. Like, this is the most cutthroat, most competitive industry in the world, where people, you know, where it's never about your politics or your personal views in that locker room. It's about getting the job done. It's about coming together and working for something that is greater than yourself. That's what teamwork is, and that's what we try. That's what we built in working up to this stream. We were building teamwork. we were being a team and that's what I needed in my life when I first got involved with Geeks and Gamers. I needed that in my life. That's what I come from. I come from a world where you work with people to build something. You work together. You know what I mean? And does Geeks and Gamers have a bad, like, or is there bad misconceptions about Geeks and Gamers? Absolutely. Absolutely there is. But does that mean that because you know, you get involved with something, when you get involved with people who aren't in your same realm of work and thought, you know, can you just off the rip and look and and this is something that people maybe don't know about, you know, Zack Snyder leading up into this. Zack didn't do no research on Geeks and Gamers. He didn't do no research because he wasn't operating from that perspective of, oh, you know, let me, you know, he wanted to work with us, work with me and me and Ryan and Lethal to bring awareness to a cause that is so close to his heart. So close to his heart. He didn't go and like say, let me watch their videos and see what they're about. He hadn't seen a video on them. And Jeremy told me, they say, hey man, we should let him know, you know, what the situation, you know, could be, what's going to happen if, you know, once this is kind of out there, if, you know, it's put out, you know, once people associate that he is working with people from Geeks and Gamers. Like, he didn't go and check out what Geeks and Gamers was about. He didn't. So he in some respect, once he started getting people coming at him about, you know, hey, don't work, you know, Geeks and Gamers, do you know what they talk about? You know, that was I'm sure that was a shock to him to a certain extent, because he didn't see that. That's not what he was seeing when he was dealing with us. And he was not seeing that kind of narrative that was being put out there. And he went to bat for us. And he went against many people who were talking to him against their perspective on what he should do. And the guy was on the phone for hours with Warner Media saying, these guys are awesome. And I'm good. And they're doing good work. Those are words that came out of his mouth. They're awesome and they're doing good work. You know, he wanted to make the stream work. Do you think for a second, if he in any way felt like he was stepping into something that was going to damage him, do you really believe he would have went through a month of preparation to do this stream? I mean, that's just, are we talking about logic and reason here? Or are we talking about narrow-sighted, selfish, self-serving perspectives? You know what I mean? Like, these are the things that I consider when I deal with people. You know what I mean? Because when I deal with people, I deal with them. When I associate myself with people, I don't associate myself with anybody to gain clout or to try and, you know, elevate myself again above others who I'm working with. I do it for the team. I do it from my heart. And that's always been me. That's been me since I was a kid. You know, so let me get a couple of super chats in here, guys. I've been rambling. I'm sorry. I've been rambling. What the heck? All right. Here we go. All right, let me see. Where was I at here? Okay, we got King Hess for $5. King Hess says, hey, great job on the money you raised for a good cause, the drama aside. Also, did Zack Snyder sound like Mike Ruffalo, or was it just me? Yeah, I guess I can kind of hear that now that I'm thinking about Mike Ruffalo's voice in my head. But appreciate that $5 there, King Hess. Chris Chetley for Canadian $6.99. I don't say this to many dudes, but after watching last night, all I wanted to do was give you a hug. Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. You know, I don't got no problem hugging another man. As long as our dicks don't touch, then we're all good. Cooking with Ruthie for $4.99. She says your heart is in a good place, or she says your heart is in a good place. At the end of the day, the most important thing was the money that you guys raised, and that's absolutely correct, Ruthie. I appreciate that. It was all about bringing awareness and raising money. Everything that we did in terms of having fun about the Snyder Cut and you know and just, you know, reveling in the moment for the fans, all of that is great, but all of that was just icing. It was just icing. You know, the cake itself was raising money and raising awareness. Mickey D's for $2. He says, crazy that people won't accept the full context. Yeah, no, I get it, man. I get it. I get it, and I present this to all of you. Why? Why won't people accept the full context? Why won't people accept the full context? I think that, you know, in my opinion, some people won't accept the full context because of their bias. You know, their bias and their unwillingness to let their bias go for a moment and think about the bigger picture is a big reason why they won't accept full context. And part of that, and even a bigger part of that, is because, in my opinion, they listen to folks who are opportunists, who push that narrative to not ever allow for a bigger picture to be seen. Look at it from this scope because it's us versus them. That, in my opinion, is part of that issue there. And I think that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people probably expected some type of really vicious responses to come from guys like Jeremy and others in our crew. And, you know, I give absolute kudos to Jeremy for, you know, keeping it professional. I understand the position that Jeremy was in once shit began to hit the fan after the stream, because now he's forced to be in a defensive position, because those in our community who have jumped on this as opportunists, he in a way, Jeremy knows that even if you are looking at it and trying to gain full context, it still feels a little bit like, you know, the wind has been knocked out of you. So you have to defend, you have to try and mitigate and control, you know, your response and your perception from that. And I think that, you know, a lot of people who look at our crew in a certain way, on, you know, from the other side of things, I think that they as well are allowing their bias to control their perspective and not allowing themselves to see the bigger picture of things. So that goes for both sides of this culture war. There's just too many people on both sides who lean into their bias instead of trying to mitigate their bias and just take information in as it comes, process information as it comes, and make logical, reasonable interpretations of what that information is. I think that there's a lot of that is missing and that is something that is greatly needed. That's something that's greatly needed in our community. If we're ever going to have the ability to kind of like be closer in the regard to making, meeting and making new friends in regards to that. People who may not agree with the things that you agree with. Like me and Jeremy, like I said before, we don't agree a lot. We don't agree like on very many things in when you look at these, and I mean, I guess there's no way to say it from the political side, we don't agree on a lot of things, but you know what? Politics for me, a lot of times in this world, in this internet world, in these online communities, politics for me is fun and games, because people get so caught up in it so easy, and they get so fucking emotional over it, and they get so triggered by it. I mean, I'd like to kind of trigger that, because to me, it shows kind of the ridiculousness of it. But that doesn't mean that I would ever. That doesn't mean that personally I don't value your human perspective, your true personal perspective, because a lot of our personal perspectives on just life itself are more aligned than we really understand, more aligned than we can really, than we're a lot of times willing to admit. And I think that's a shame. But I think that when you look at our crew as a whole, there's so much there for people to really open up and understand that the misconceptions are just that, misconceptions about our crew. And I bring this up because I think it's a perfect example of it. And if you give me a moment, and you know what, let me check out some more super chats here, and let me go through some of these super chats, and then I'm going to show y'all where my example of crossing out that bias and actually getting to see and know people for who the fuck they are. I'll get to that here in a second. We got a $50 super chat. Appreciate that. That's $50 super chat from ICOS8. ICOS8. Says, hey, Uche, you and the G&G are solid people. Don't let the clowns calling you what you're not get to y'all. You came from an earnest effort. Don't let people steal the sweat off your back. It's a learning experience, and you'll grow from it. Stay strong, man. Hey, man, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Chris Oliphant for $4.99. He says, at first, I disagreed with you as usual, but as usual, you convinced me otherwise. It comes down to cooler heads prevail. Great cause over ego. Absolutely, man. And look, I have a strong personality. I have a very I can be very high energy, which can be overwhelming, to people at times. But I am not above putting my ego aside. I have put my ego aside for a lot of things in my life. I put my ego aside for a lot of things in this, in our community, because ego is only useful when you're trying to flex. Ego is only useful when you're trying to flex. And ego is almost specifically, your ego exists for you when you flex. Like, that's what it's there for flexing. It's not there for your everyday interactions. And it's something that you should be able to put to the side when it comes to your everyday interactions, because you don't know the person that you're dealing with. So you should operate from a neutral position and allow for energy and synergy to be created before you determine whether or not that you bring your ego back into the picture if necessary. So for me, it really is a matter of understanding, and I think that comes from me being an athlete and coming up in a world where you have to be coachable, where you have to be able to accept critiquing and criticism. And I'm never above criticism. I'm never above being critiqued. I never am. And I'm not right on everything that I say to people about opinions, and that's fine. I can be wrong, and I'm cool with that. Like, if I'm wrong, I'll own up to it. I don't have a problem with that. That's just another example of putting your ego to the side. Diego Flores. I don't know. Pen. I don't know. I'm not sure what that currency is, but Pen S20. He says, I'll be honest, Uche, I don't agree with you on most things, but last night you earned my respect. As a corporal brat, dad had high positions, including CEO in a bank. I understood what was happening to Zack. Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who had already been fucked by his studio. We all know that. He'd already been fucked by his studio. So, one thing that we talked about when we were meeting with Zack, before, leading up to the stream, like in the weeks leading up to it, we talked about, that situation, about not wanting to put him in a situation that could draw consequences for him. And, hey, again, it is what it is. The Geeks and Gamers aspect of what we were doing was something that brought heat on him. And again, if you can see the forest past the trees, then you'd understand that if those powers that be had it their way, there wouldn't have been no stream last night. That stream would have been shot down 10 days ago. 10, 12 to 2 weeks ago, that stream would have been, this whole event would have got shot down. He went to bat for us. He went to bat for us because he saw in me, Ryan, Lethal, and Jeremy that we were people trying to work with him from a good place in our heart. We were not, this was not something that was this wasn't politics. And, and when I say politics, this wasn't politics as regards to the business side of everything that he had going on with getting the Snyder cut out and whatnot. This was, bringing awareness to a cause, bringing, the community to the table to help raise money and trying to make it as fun and as cool as possible. And look, in all of our lives, how many times have situations like that been interfered with? If you're working in a workplace of any sort, how many times have good intentions been interfered with corporate drama? I think we can all point to some experience in our life where that has been the case. And it kind of, and those things aren't necessarily compatible. So, he took heat and he pushed back against the heat as much as he could. But even at that, there had to be compromises that had to be made. There did. And if you feel like because we made those compromises that we're weak, then maybe you should look in the mirror, because we still raised $100,000. The vast majority of the community is proud of what we did. Is everybody is it 100% happy about, just the optics of it? No, I'm and I get that. I understand that. But we raised $100,000 for suicide prevention, and it's probably going to be more than that once you count in the ending figures from the auction stuff. So, it's really, I think that I just continue to feel like it's unfortunate that got hijacked by opportunists. You know what I mean? I don't need to say no names. People know who they are. Like, that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. So, really do appreciate that, Diego Flores, for 20 pennies. Carlos Prano. Hope I'm saying that right. Forgive me if I'm not. 10 USD says, to hell with the BS. You all did great work yesterday. Much love and respect. Thank you very much, Carlos. I appreciate that. Zack Richmond for 5 USD says, like my dad always says, the mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. That's real talk. That's real talk. And that sentiment is very much synonymous with how I operate in my everyday life. Like, I start open, and then I begin to categorize, process, and draw down on what it is, who I'm dealing with, and where they fit into my understanding and perspective of that person's, worth to me. You know what I mean? There are some people that I meet in my daily life that within 10 minutes I know that this person is somebody I'm talking to on a platonic level, but give no fucks about, because I see traits that just aren't compatible with a person who, like a person like for me, their personality and their traits that they display are not compatible with my personality and my traits, because I'm much more willing to give someone a chance, even knowing that they're likely not of the same mindset as me. I'm totally willing to give them a chance on the personal level, because I'm able to separate different traits and process whether or not I am, that's something that I can vibe with, So, the mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. 100% correct there, Zack. Justin Norris for $4.99. Someone in the stream said John Wick would defeat Deathstroke with a pencil. Bruh, that may be the dumbest thing I've read this year. # no contest. Whoo, Joe Manganiello was on the stream last night. Deathstroke himself. I mean, if you know the Deathstroke character, then yeah, John Wick would have got his ass. John Wick would have got offed in the first movie if he was dealing with Deathstroke. That wouldn't even have been a thing right there. That wouldn't even have been a thing. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Diego Flores for another Penes 50. After seeing EVS's and Ripper's reactions, made me understand that they are cowards because, ironically enough, they look to create their own safe spaces while it feels like you guys in G&G try to make it a place for all on equal footing. That's an interesting perspective. And, look, I love Ripper, man. I love Ripper. I'm not going to badmouth Eric July in any way, because while I don't necessarily agree with things that with some of his perspectives, and not even that, me and Eric, sometimes we argue, but we kind of agree on shit. We're just looking at it from different ways, but we still agree on things. And yesterday, I apologized to Eric because I was hot. I was fucking hot. I was so hot yesterday that it had turned into what it had turned into. I was so pissed off. And I was trying my absolute best to, not let all that anger come out at one time. And, I did. I let my anger come out, not because of necessarily anything Eric said, but because, to me, people were putting themselves people were putting themselves in our shoes on the stream and creating hypotheticals in our shoes without knowing what it took for us to get to that point. And to me, that was disrespectful. Now, you may not agree. You may agree. You may not agree. But when you create a hypothetical without context and without the full understanding of the actual situation from start to finish, and you start going into hypotheticals, that is an easy way out. in my eyes. That's you. That to me is literally from a psychological standpoint. That is the least. That requires the least amount of brain power. That requires the literal least amount of energy for you to reach a conclusion and to draw a narrative that really is unfair to everybody who had put in the work and had worked their ass off so hard to really bring this thing together. And you know, like I said, I may be the only one who feels that way, but you know what? That's how I feel. I'm going to always be 100% honest with y'all. And I'm not saying that anybody else is not being honest. I'm saying that me, as I see the world, based on my experiences in this life, I can only operate on that level of being myself. And my principles and my honor will never be compromised for the sake of anybody's entertainment. Never. I will never compromise my principles to entertain people, because I can't even act like that. I can't even put that front out there. Like, I would never put when a situation was as serious as it was for us getting this thing together and getting this stream out there, I truly feel like for people to then say that we should have done this or we should have done that is utter disrespect for the work we put in for it. And so, you know, that's what I'll say on that. You know, as far as EVS, hey, you guys don't want to hear what the fuck I got to say about him, and you can tell him I said it. Satan West for $5 says, your heart was in the right place. It's a shame that a night that should have been a celebration for real fans and a great charity got ruined by politics. You are 100% correct there. Thank you very much, Satan West. Or is it Satan? Is it Satan? I'm going to say it's Satan. Paul S. for $5 USD. He says, Kev Smith opened with the same statement denouncing hate. Too many last night acted childish and butthurt. The focus should have stayed on the fundraiser. You know, I guess that's where they say calmer heads should have prevailed. I really believe that's where they say calmer heads should have prevailed. You know, look, Geeks and Gamers was trending on Twitter yesterday with the Snyder Cut. There's two ways you can look at that. You know, what's the old saying? There's no such thing as bad publicity. You know, from a standpoint of that, you know, Geeks and Gamers just took a little step up. We got trending, baby. I mean, you know, last I talked to Jeremy, the channel, the main Geeks and Gamers channel is gaining subscribers. So, you know, hey, silver lining there for people who are butthurt about it. You know, like there's your silver lining right there. Let's see. Butter Biscuit, what up, brother? Butter Biscuit 92. He says for $15. You know I love you, but I don't understand how you can talk about being bigger or understanding the internet when you cuss the chat out last. The same people who donated, including myself. Okay, so let me clarify on what my intent was in talking to the chat the way I did last night. Let me clarify it for you guys. You know, I'm generally, you know, and I learned this in football. You never read the newspaper, never read what people are saying about you, because it'll drive you crazy. Good or bad, it'll drive you crazy, because the things that stick out the most are going to be the negative comments. I saw a lot of negative comments. I saw a lot of people saying things about me that I knew, that I just knew were not that mischaracterizations of me as a person. When people, you know, look, I understand that people will come at you personally on every level. I was an NFL football player. I've had people say things to me in stadiums that I would never want my children to hear. You know, I understand that. But, you know, when you put your heart and soul into something and then people literally call you out of your name, and try to and start using words like traitor. Traitor? Really? Traitor? Get rid of him? Like, people were advocating for me to be kicked out of Geeks and Gamers, like for me to be for this and that. You know, I had, you know, I was hot as fuck. I was super, super, super pissed. And it wasn't even that I wasn't even super pissed about anything that was said in the stream. I was super pissed that this shit had been turned into a fucking shit show in the aftermath of things. And now it was being laid at my feet as if I was somebody who did this against the community, who really maliciously did this against the community. That's bullshit. Straight up and down. That's bullshit. And that, to me, spurred for me to say the statement I said to the chat. And it wasn't directed at at everybody in the chat. Look, if you get mad at anything I say, when it comes to speaking to a large group of people, and I'm making a point, and I'm responding, clearly I'm responding to things that I'm reading in the chat that are disparaging in the most disrespectful ways to me. That doesn't mean I'm talking to you. And when I say you, a person who is looking at this from a confused perspective, or hey, just not kind of understanding, or maybe wanting to just kind of listen to what everybody's saying and absorb that info. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. And that's where the saying comes, if you're getting mad or you're taking something personal that I say that's really directed at a sentiment that's being pushed onto me, then you need to look in the mirror. Because if you know me, and Butter Biscuit, you know me. I mean, you know me here online, and you know that I appreciate you every single time that you're on my live streams, that you leave comments on my videos. You know I respect you and I love you. You know that. And with you knowing that, you should know that where I was coming from was never directed at anybody like you who's been a supporter of mine. You should know that. These are people who don't know me. Those are the ones I'm talking to. Because now they acting like they know me. They putting their label on me. That's the thing. When you put your label on me, you're labeling me in the same way that you complain and you cry about being labeled yourself, then what does that make you? It makes you a fucking hypocrite. So let's be real then. I'm going to call that. I'm going to call that because that's who I am. That's who I am. I'm not laying down on shit if somebody is being disingenuous. Never. I'm not going to. Because that's my honor being put on the line. That's my principles being put on the line. My parents raised me better than that. My parents worked their ass off. They came to this country as immigrants, and they raised me that you never allow somebody to compromise your principles or your honor. Whatever they are and whatever you decide you're going to be, you never allow anybody to compromise you personally or to paint a picture of you that is completely opposed to what the truth of the matter is. And that's where that came from, dude. You know I love you. Butter Biscuit is one of my favorite guys on YouTube as far as dealing with fans and with people who are supporters. I love the guy. Like he's one of my first members on my channel. Like that's one of the screen names that I know where I can see his screen name in a crowd of screen names just like that. I love Butter Biscuit. So just understand that wasn't intended for anybody who has any love for me. That was intended for people who were taking shots at me, who don't know me, who don't watch my channel, who are really following along with the mob, because that's what that was. That was just mob talk. So I'll dish it back. I'll dish it back out. That's fine, But no, I appreciate that $15, brother. Appreciate that very much. $5 USD, George Cadenas. Kevin Smith gave a similar speech on the red carpet event when it comes to hate, and it's how he starts too. Yes, yes, you're absolutely correct, George. This was and this is what Zack told me on the phone this morning. He said, on all the platforms from because of the events that happened here in Atlanta, every platform that they were doing any events with from that day moving forward through this premiere schedule, that was a statement that they were all, told. That's the statement that they all were told to use. That's a statement that they were all, that's just what, that's like they hand you, you know what I mean? Like I know what that is. Like that's a PR thing. That's in football. We go in to do I go in to talk to a school, to talk to kids at a school on my day off. And on the, when I'm driving up there, they send me an email and say, hey, these are a couple of things that we would like for you to touch on. We've had there's been a, I know in Jacksonville, one time I went to go talk to an elementary school, and there had been a number of kids who were in this inner city school who, I mean, really, for lack of a better word, these kids were like orphans, and they were working. The school was working with Salvation Army to provide clothing and provide shoes and whatnot for all these kids. And they wanted me to say something about that, and they wanted me to say that before I got into talking about it, to bring some recognition to the Salvation Army for, providing clothes, providing, clothing, providing bicycles, providing backpacks. They wanted me to say that. So when I got there and they gave me the mic and I introduced myself, I went in and acknowledged that before I actually started my actual speaking to the kids. So, I just couldn't understand how people, I just didn't get it. I didn't get how people couldn't see that. I could see that. That's why I made the comment I made right after Zack said it. I said, yeah, I can relate to that because I got kids who are half Asian. Yes, I know what I knew it when he said it, what he was talking about. He was talking about Atlanta. I live in Atlanta. So it 100% resonated with me. And look, from what I've read, and and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've read, Zack Snyder has dyslexia and he's ADD. So much like you kind of hear me sometimes, I'll stop and I'll kind of stare off. That's me trying to slow down my mind and stop all of these different trains of thought from interrupting what I'm trying to say. And then I kind of go into my talking. I do that a lot. And in knowing Zack and talking to Zack a lot, I guess that he was ADD because he was doing a lot of the same things and talking that I do sometimes. And then a few people had commented and said that he was dyslexic, which would even more so kind of speak to the fact that he had, when he talks, it's very hard for him to start up and get going, and his trains of thoughts get fractured, constantly, while he's trying to get a point across to people. So, that's just the fact of the matter. Formerly Rod Line for $4.99. You always keep it on the level. All of you should be proud of what you've done. Honestly, you very, very well could have saved some lives. Y'all done good. Thank you very much. And formerly Rod Line. That's another guy who is always. This is a guy I love. He's always in my chat. He's always on my streams. You guys know, if I'm saying something in a heated moment and I'm coming at somebody, I'm not coming at y'all. You gotta know that. Yeah, we did save lives yesterday, and I'm very proud of that. I really do believe that what we did yesterday was such a uplifting thing for anybody who has had to deal with with the situation of suicide. That's real talk there. That's real talk. Diego Flores, For another Penes 10. I will be honest, the last comment in the response to my 50 made me laugh. Also, the currency is Peruvian souls. Oh, Peruvian souls. Ooh. Well, I guess, yeah, the N is there. Peruvian souls. Hope you never change, man. People like you are needed more than ever. Thank you very much, man. You know, look, you know, I like to talk and I like to have fun and I like to joke, you know, and I'm not one to maybe I don't like to like toot my horn or indulge in what some perceive as their own self like value over others. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with that. You know, okay, yeah. So I generally try to be honest and straightforward and give my perspective on things. I don't claim to know it all. I know a lot. I know a lot about a lot. You'd be surprised. I know a lot about a lot, but I genuinely don't genuinely don't try to you know put myself above others. I just try to be real with people about things. I'm just trying to be me. I'm just trying to be me. I'm not trying to be anything other than me. I'm not trying to create no alter ego, no alias, no. I'm just giving you Uche because I mean that's what it says here on my you know, on my YouTube. It just says Uche Nwaneri. It don't say nothing else. Like that's who you're getting is Uche Nwaneri. You know, and you know, I just that's it. That's all I can do is be me. Like what else can I be but me? But no, thank you very much. Butterbiscuit 92 says for $5, he says, I hear you, man. Tried to hit you up on Discord because I know you were heated. I'm sorry yesterday ended the way it did. Thanks for the clarification and love. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's all love, man. It's all love. Like, look, you know, and part of me is, oh crap. Hold on. You know, when you click something and an app comes up and you're like, damn it, this mouse, you know, look, yesterday was all things aside, yesterday was a great day. You know, it was you know, unfortunate that things, you know, derailed the way they did towards the end, you know, at the end of it, but you know, we just keep doing what we do, we move on. You know, the movie was great. It was an amazing movie. I loved it. I loved it, and I hope that we can restore the Snyderverse. But you know, it was a great effort yesterday. I do want to show y'all, man. You know what? I was hyped about this because mainly because you know, whoa. Okay, well, okay. Diamond Dallas Page done retweeted your boy again. Yay! There were so many like people that really did show support going into this yesterday. Some you know, some really cool people. Even you know, even Gina Carano, which I shout out to Gina Carano. I'll show her some love and respect for you know, showing love to our cause and to our charity stream last night. You know, people really were really showing love. We're really showing love. Diamond Dallas Page. You know, make sure you go check out my good friend at Chukwu at Zack Snyder's charity auction going on right now. Gina Carano, after raising nearly 100,000 for AFSP. Well, that was another tweet. She did. Okay, here we go. This is the one. Well, there's a couple of them from her. Okay, cool. At Geeks and Gamers. At Geeks and Gamers. Oh, that was one of my. I was, see, this is the thing. This is my ADD. I'm all over the place right now. Congrats at Chuku and Geeks and Gamers team. You guys are the best. Appreciate that, Miss Carano. Appreciate that very much. That's a lovely thing for you to say. She showed support yesterday. I really do appreciate her for saying that. And that's because that's a genuine thought from her. It's not because of anything else than that. She's given a genuine thought, and I appreciate it. Jake the Snake. He retweeted out a lot of our stuff too. Let me see. Grace Randolph showed some love. Andy Signor retweeted. Andy Signor he's got his own like little beefs with people here and there, but I don't have anything really personally against Andy. He's just trying to find his way. David Ayer retweeted our stream yesterday. Kate Quigley, big shout out Kate Quigley. She retweeted Adam Rank from the NFL Network. He retweeted our event yesterday. The NFL, the National Football League, retweeted what we were doing. Then I had a number of former teammates who were retweeted. Lige Duzable, he retweeted. Trey Thomas, obviously Zack Snyder put his thing up there, which I thought was fucking great and amazing. Trey Thomas, one of my old teammates, Big Trey Dog, he put that out there. So, there was a lot of love for what we were doing yesterday. There was a lot of love, and really I feel like that is something that speaks to the character of us as a community, speaks to the character of the people, the people here with Geeks and Gamers. That speaks to, a lot of the hard work that everybody did to put this thing together. So, that's awesome to see. That's awesome to see. And I appreciate all that support, and we appreciate all that support. And you guys, you guys made it happen, for us in a big way, Let me see. Let me go through. Let's see what we got here. What's going on in the chat? Let's see. Just taking a look here because I kind of want to, just begin to wrap this thing up here in a moment. Somebody says, not everyone in the G&G fan base hates you. Awesome, thanks. Let's see here. Somebody said, wasn't Uche supported Disney dumping Gina? No. I never I guess this is as good a time to speak about it as any. The whole Gina Carano situation, I was not a supporter of her being fired. I did not think that she should have been fired. But with that being said, I understood what happened and why it happened because, again, I come from a world where, as an employee of a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, these people again don't. There's it's sometimes it's hard to explain because I had my own situation like that to a certain extent when I was in the NFL. This was after my third year in the NFL. I said some shit about a certain college football player by the name of Tim Tebow that was considered very inflammatory. And this was back in the day of message boards. This was what, 2009, 2010? This was in the day of message boards. And I said, and And I wasn't like, I don't think I was talking shit about Tim Tebow. I was just talking about my perspective as to why I thought he was a terrible quarterback. And, you know, little did I know that that was going to be on the front page of yahoo.com within the hour, saying that Jaguar star player trashes Tim Tebow. And it was a wild situation. And in that, I actually did end up speaking with our head coach, speaking with our general manager, and they backed me. They backed me because I stood behind I didn't like, that wasn't an anonymous thing. That was me saying it, talking to fans, and they understood that I was really just having a conversation with the fans. So they backed me. They backed me in that situation. But I've seen guys who, you know, who say things, and, you know, if you go to a certain extent, like, you can cross a line that puts the crosshairs on both the player and the team itself. And once that happens, the team is then going to take action. And with Gina Carano's situation, my perspective was always that she, you know, as a public figure, you have to be very careful in your interactions in the public space, because those interactions are amplified and will be dissected and analyzed all the time. And in that situation, for her, you know, fair or not, and I don't believe it was fair. I do not believe it was fair. But that is irrelevant in this world as an employee of a company that's worried about their bottom line and consider you just a piece on their chessboard. Like, as a football player, I was just a piece on the chessboard. If I did things that were so, if I did things that stepped beyond a certain point in the team's perception of things, then they could remove me from the chessboard and they won't really think twice about it. I mean, and really, whether they remove you from the chessboard or not is a lot of times in the football world dependent on how much money will we lose as a team if we do remove him from the chessboard. How much of a cap hit is the team going to take if they remove you from the chessboard for crossing into this boundary or out of this boundary as an employee? That is what you have. That's how you have to kind of see it, because that's what they're worried about more than anything, is how does their money get affected. Now, with Gina Carano's situation, I honestly felt like a lot of people felt if Pedro Pascal was going to put things out there that were inflammatory as well, then whatever the result was for him has to be the result for her. Because at that point, as I understand it, by the time that the situation that ended up getting her fired happened, they were at I guess, I mean, I'm not counting, I guess, strikes against both of them, but I guess at that point they were both kind of at the same point of, okay, you've made these posts, y'all need to stop it. And it was kind of like right there. And then she put her post out, and that moved her up a notch. So now Disney is going to react to her with a different set of consequences, because she has moved from them being level in their strikes to her moving up in a strike. I don't know. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, it's usually the last person who does something, like they're going to get the brunt end of, the rough end of the deal. And in her situation, when you go into that territory, like, I understood the point she was trying to make, and I understood where she was coming from. And I didn't necessarily disagree with where she was coming from, but when you frame it in the frame of a situation like, anything that leads up to the Holocaust, I don't know many people. I don't know many people who come out on the other end of that intact. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I can't imagine that there are many people who do come out on the other end of making a comparison with the Holocaust intact. I mean, look at the cat from Miami, Heat. He said what he said online, and I mean, and his was even a little bit different than Gina's situation, because he said that out loud with conviction, like that was just part of his vocabulary. And that is, and on the other end of that, the team has got him away from them indefinitely. So, I don't think it was fair what happened to Gina Carano. I don't think it was fair. But that is business. That's how business operates. It's not necessarily about fair. It's about how much heat did you bring onto us? Which, again, that's relatable to the situation from yesterday, and relatable to the situation from dealing with Zack, was that, there was heat on him, and he had to be able to mitigate that heat in a way that would not keep him from being able to do what he wanted to do and being on the stream to help us raise awareness. And again, guys, like, don't get me wrong. I don't disagree with the fact that there is there can be like that there's bias on both sides in regards to how they deal with situations. And, it's not always fair for people who get caught up in that. So I have empathy for Gina Carano's situation, but I also understand that that's what a publicist needs to be for. That's what a publicist is for. Like, those are the people that, that help kind of steer the directive and how you put yourself out there so that you don't get caught in a trap. And unfortunately, she got caught in a trap with that. And, nobody, I didn't want to see her fired. I thought that was like, I mean, I thought that's what social media has kind of become. Like, social media can be a trap, can be a real trap for a lot of people. But I see somebody in the chat asking if I talked to Zack. Yeah, I talked to Zack this morning, and I kind of talked about that. He was not associating geeks and gamers with any kind of hate. He just wasn't. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. I mean, I understand people are gonna see things the way they see it, but that is the fact of the matter. I got Bradman here for $10. Appreciate that, Bradman. He says, I did 5 years in politics. You can't just say no. There is a line. If you cross it, you're done. I feel for you and Zack. If Zack says no, then they say, okay, no, Justice League 2, bye. Then the media labels him. And, hey, that sentiment is pretty accurate. Like, in the business world, things, when it comes down to the politics of the business world, the biggest stick generally rules the day. And we all know that the biggest stick is the people at the top of these corporations. I mean, that's That's a fact of the matter. You know, sometimes you gotta play the game. You know, you gotta play the game. You can't, you know, your personal principles are, you don't want to compromise those, but you also want to be aware about the situation you're in, and sometimes that takes just, you know, some restraint. I had to show some restraint. You know, I was kind of going off the rails about this shit earlier today, and Jeremy called me, and Jeremy was like, Uche, like, I love you. You know that I got your back, but you need to get off the internet for a minute. You need to stop replying to all these things. I know where you're coming from. I know that you are deeply angry about this because, you know, because of how things played out. I get it. But if you trust my decision making, and if you trust me and know that I'm only telling you things because I want what's best for you, and I don't want you to fall into a trap, then please take your ass to sleep. Because I hadn't gone to sleep at that point. You know, I didn't go to sleep last night. I did not go to sleep at all. I was up the entire night. I watched Justice League, and, you know, truth be told, I loved the movie, but I couldn't 100% concentrate on the movie because I was seething so badly. And guys, it takes a lot. It really does take a lot to truly make me angry enough to, like, disrupt my own normal going abouts in life. And, you know, I was that angry, and it took me having to swallow my pride on the phone with Jeremy, swallow my pride and put my ego to the side to listen to what he was saying and understand it, and understand that he's not trying to, like, he's not against me. He is not trying to, you know, to shut me up. He is trying to help protect me from allowing my emotions and my anger to dictate things that I say that could be hurtful to me, hurtful to the group, hurtful to the situation. And so, you know, with that, I literally sat on the, you know, I sat and I was quiet listening to him, and I was talking to myself in my head. You need to calm down and listen to what this man is saying to you. You need to calm down and understand that he is trying to help you. You're angry, you're pissed, you feel disrespected, you feel like you feel personally wounded by this, but you need to push that down for a moment and listen to what your friend is telling you. And don't take it in any other way than your friend trying to help you see that what I am beginning to do is not going to help. It's only going to make things harder. And that took a lot inside, because I hadn't been I hadn't been that angry. I can't remember the last time I've been that angry. It's maybe been damn near a decade. I mean, maybe when I was in college, there was a point. I mean, I don't even know. I was so angry. I was so angry, guys. Like, I was seething. I was seething, and I was hurting. So it was taking a lot for me to, like, to corral all of that emotion and all of that energy and all of it, because I wasn't even tired. Like, I hadn't even gone to sleep, and I still wasn't tired because my anger kept my energy level high. And it took a lot. And I appreciate Jeremy for really, you know, I appreciate him for talking to me and presenting it to me just straightforward as a friend, you know, and you know, that's what friends are for. So, you know, I appreciate him for that. And I took my ass to bed. You know, I didn't sleep a lot, but I slept enough to, like, wake up and be like, okay, all right, now I can, like, look at things with more perspective and not just see red. So I thank him for that. JPRPH1 for $9.99. Thank you, JRPH. I mean, I want to say whatever that's spelt out, but I don't know what it really spells. But thank you, JPRPH1 for $9.99. You did a wonderful job last night hosting their G&G charity auction. Hindsight is 2020, and made the best of a challenge, and you made the best of a challenging situation. Zack seemed tongue-tied throughout the interview at times. Yeah, Zack seemed tongue-tied. That's because he's ADD and I gather dyslexic. So that, yeah, tongue-tied is he stumbles into his thoughts a lot. If you talk to him enough, you start to realize that he kind of stumbles into his talking a lot. Paul Revere, the British are coming. The British are coming for 10 USD. You're a true professional. You help more people in one night than most haters will in their entire lives. It's a shame toxic people are using a Zack Snyder's statement to denigrate you and G&G. Rise above it. Respect to you. No, thank you, Paul Revere. And really, I think that, that sentiment I would apply to, our community. I would apply to the Geeks and Gamers crew. Again, I can't say enough about Ryan and Lethal, during the stream being able to be, being able to reserve themselves and not allow their emotions to come out. I think we all felt a little shock just because, that's something that you kind of know is going to, that's something you kind of know could rub people the wrong way. And, I know Ryan was feeling a certain kind of way. I started paying attention to him, to his face, to how he was looking, because I knew once Zack made those statements, and I felt that energy kind of like start to break apart, and I felt that shock kind of set in. I was like, okay, I have to keep talking. I have to stay engaged in the conversation and not because part of me kind of was like going I was partly going shell shocked to where it would have just been awkward silence for like minutes, and I was like, I need to ask them another question. Let me ask him about the movie. Let me ask him about the process of the movie so that he can go into a longer dialogue about it, so that so that everybody here can breathe while he's talking and try and recompose themselves, because that's what I was doing while he was talking. And I love Zack. While he was talking, I wasn't listening. I was like, okay, all right, okay, so this shit is crazy. This is everything I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, this shit is crazy. I need to, but I gotta stay involved. Let me look and see what everybody, how everybody's reacting to stuff. Like, I'm looking at Tyrone's face. I'm looking at Film Gob. I'm looking at Dave. I'm looking at, and then they seem to like that. Their awkwardness point had passed, and they were like back to being engaged in the panel and reacting with body language. But Lethal and Ryan was just like, and I was like, oh shit, Ryan's cracking over there. Ryan's cracking. Let me just keep talking. Let's see, hopefully he comes out of it. I know what he's feeling, because I looked at my phone while they were talking, and I saw that only Jeremy had seen the message that I had sent, that, hey, he's gonna say something. So I knew that this was deeply shocking for them, because they didn't know it was coming. But me and Jeremy did know it was coming. So you know, that's the part. That's the part that where you try and compose yourself and you try and, you know, stick with it and you try and continue to stay focused on, you know, keeping the optics right, continuing on with what we're doing, because this is a live stream. This is a charity stream. Like, if this thing breaks down, then it's going to be difficult. Even Mara Jade, she tried to kind of get in and talk and ask a question. You know, that was a good thing. Like, trying to like compose and stay focused. That was hard. That was hard for everybody. I get that. And I'm not oblivious to that in any way, shape, or form. I understand that fully. Oh, okay. I see somebody here says, Uche, Uche, you are a spineless fuck. You stood there and nodded while Zack threw G&G under the bus. Go fuck yourself, you bitch. Stay the fuck away from G&G. Lopez T, thank you for being in here and adding to my viewer count. Lopez T, I appreciate you very much. Butter Biscuit for $5. Can't tell you guys what to do, but it might be best to stay away from Hollywood types. Don't need them. Do things your way because the community showed up. Look, you know, I get where you're coming from with that, you know. You know, and that's fine that you feel that way. You know, me personally, you know, I don't look at people in that perspective per se. Like, I didn't look at Zack as a Hollywood type because I met Zack. I talked with Zack. I understand who he is as a person, and I don't know what a Hollywood type is. You know, I don't know what a Hollywood type is. This guy's a regular guy. He has a family. He wakes up in the morning and he cooks breakfast for his children, and he hangs out and he talks with guys like me and guys like Lethal and Ryan and Tyrone Magnus, and he just talks. He's just a regular dude. You know, I think that's kind of labeling him. Like, you know, he works. He has a livelihood that he has to work for his family. Does that put, you know, and even with this entire situation, like, I mean, this guy like came to do something with us. Like, he came to be a part of raising money for a great cause. You know, is that a Hollywood type? Is he a Hollywood type because he made a couple of statements that, one, legally he had to make because that was what we agreed to, and then two, you know, he was bringing a sentiment that was a PR initiative for the company that he works for. I mean, how does that make him a Hollywood type? You know, by how I gather some of the perception of the Hollywood type is that they don't want to deal with people in the YouTube sphere at all. So Zack is well known for being the opposite of that. He deals with, like, he comes onto a channel that has 17,000 subscribers. Like, does a Hollywood type go on a channel that has 17,000 subscribers? That has, you know, before guys like Ping Pong Flicks and Dave the Film Junkie, these guys were like, you know, 10, 12,000, you know, 8,000 subscribers. He's going on their channels. Like, he literally is going and interacting with people who the snobbish kind of types would never even consider. You wouldn't even be able to get a hold of him, a hold of these kind of people. They would, if you don't have 500,000 subscribers and up, then you can't even get in touch with a publicist. You know what I mean? Like, there is literally like a group, and there's literally a group in every sector of society where they think they're above everyone else, and they won't deal with people who aren't at least at this level. You know how many times people have told me personally they can't believe, and this, hell, within the last 24 hours, I have messages on my phone from talking with people who their first reaction after I responded to a message they sent me, a personal message they sent me, is, wow, I can't believe that someone like you who played in the NFL would even take the time to talk to me. Like, if that's your perception of someone who has a profession that they work in, and you think that they don't like you just because they're in a profession that, you know, the perception is that they don't want to deal with people of your type in any way, then how are you ever going to be able to meet new people and interact with society in a meaningful way when, you know, when your perception is that, oh, they work in Hollywood, so they're a Hollywood type and they don't want to work with us. That's, to me, that's counterproductive. Like, Zack Snyder is a regular guy. He's a regular guy who's living a regular life. He just makes movies for a living. He's a regular guy. So for me, like, I would love to have Zack come on a stream on a stream again with me. I would, because I want to talk to him more about, you know, now that the Snyder Cut is out, I want to talk to him more. You know, I could call Zack Snyder right now on my phone. He would answer. How many Hollywood types that you say would do that? And that's where I feel like there's such a disconnect. And part of that disconnect is there because there are people who push a narrative in our own community that labels people in such a way. Now, again, it wasn't worded great at all. And I think that comes more from Zack is more of an eccentric type. Like, he's not really a media kind of guy. He is just a dude who makes movies. How many software engineers who help develop amazing games that we play on our PS4s and on our computers? How many of them have you ever talked to and you're like, wow, he's really good at like talking and expressing and communicating? A lot of them aren't. They're not very good at talking to people, like, because their life and everything that they do revolves around their craft, and they don't interact with people on a bigger scale very often. So it's very difficult for them to like really express verbally, you know, what it is that they're trying to say sometimes. And I mean, you have to be able to read that in people sometimes. Like, because I know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people in many different industries who are like that. Like, it's really hard for them to really like talk to people, especially people that they don't necessarily know. It's a hard thing for them, and sometimes they talk and things can come off in a way that they don't really mean, but they don't really know how to really express it so that you can understand what they're saying. I mean, I've seen that. I see that all the time. I see that all the time, guys. I really do. But Butter Biscuit, appreciate the comment, brother. You know I appreciate you. Brandon the Jobber, $4.99. Thank you and the Geeks and Gamers team. How would you like a Green Lantern reboot? Oh man. Green Lantern is the one piece missing right now from Justice League, from the Justice League or from the DC universe in general. Dude, Green Lantern is, I mean, I would love to see a Green Lantern reboot, but I mean, let's be real. Right now we're waiting for the results on Justice League, on Snyder Cut. We're waiting for the results because, like I said at the end of the stream yesterday, you know, the movement is going to help. You know, and I know that on the 22nd we're doing a Restore the Snyderverse trending day. So the movement is gonna help, but the movement is only going to help in confirmation of what the numbers say. If this thing, and it appears, and I'm guessing here, but it appears that this Snyder Cut phenomenon is it looks like it could be blowing the doors off of HBO Max's subscriber count. Could be. We'll see soon enough. I think that once we get a clear understanding of where that is, then we will, the demand from the public will have a greater effect. I don't think that anything can be assumed until we know what that is. But a Green Lantern reboot would have to be in the cards. I know that they're doing the Green Lantern Corps as an HBO Max series, but if we're talking about singular Green Lantern, Hal Jordan or John Stewart, then that's going to really depend, and whether it's Snyderverse type thing or not, that's really going to depend on how this Snyder Cut performs with HBO Max. Let's see here. KVG 1988 for Canadian $5. He said, dude was late to his own red carpet event to chill with us. I didn't know that. Haters gotta get over a 15-second gaffe. You did good, man. Thank you very much, KVG. I appreciate that, brother. I didn't know that he was late to the red carpet event, but he kicked it with us for a while. He kicked it with us longer than he longer than he said he would. So again, I can't think of someone hanging out the way he did, and being in our event and being talking at length and putting a smile on his face. I can't think that someone would do that and be late to their own premiere if they totally disavowed and felt like Geeks and Gamers was some kind of hate group. I can't see that happening. I mean, that doesn't not that I can't even see that doesn't make sense. That just doesn't make sense at all. Like, he just wouldn't have shown up because the money was already being made. Then why show up if you really don't want to deal with quote unquote these people and think that they're quote unquote a hate group? Why even show up? Why even show up? If he was a Hollywood type, he could have just dropped it and dropped us and took the money and ran. Hell, he already had we already hit the first goal before he came on. I mean, he could have easily been like, you know what, man, because of this thing, I'm not going to be able to come on. Sorry. He could have did that if he was a Hollywood type, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So come on, we got to judge each person individually. We can't label people because, again, you don't want to be labeled. I know how much I see in videos that people feel like we're being, we're as a community, we get labeled this and that. Okay, well, if that's the case, don't label. If you don't want to be labeled, then don't label people. So, it is what it is on that. Daniel Villarreal for $5. He says, you guys are professionals because it could have been way worse, but Zack could have said one statement at the beginning and then the other at the end. I mean, that's semantics. I hear you. You're not wrong, and you're not, and that's not, that's not a worthy point. But it is semantics. I mean, I know for me, myself personally, if I got to deal with a situation that's uncomfortable, I want to get it done now so I can get comfortable, because I can't have fun until I'm comfortable. And I think if you paid attention to his mannerisms for the first 1-2 minutes after that statement, for the first 1-2 minutes, he was uncomfortable. He was nervous and he was uncomfortable because, in my estimation, I don't think he necessarily wanted it to come to that point where he had to say something like that about Geeks and Gamers. And that's where, on me, I take the fault in that, because I should have been more observant, the Observant Lineman. I should have been more observant to the auction website to make sure that it was set up the way that we all had agreed to set it up. That is on me. I take responsibility for that. That is also a part of where my anger came from, is because had I actually scrutinized the auction website to make sure that it was set up the right way, then there never would have been that statement. You know, that statement would have never have needed to be said. So, you know, that's on me at the end of the day. That's where I kind of feel a little guilt in that myself. So I apologize for that. Let's see here. Mickey D's for 5 USD. Glad that you found the strength to be here. Sorry for your loss. Stay strong, King. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Look, man, I just really, I really appreciate just how the community came together. I really appreciate, you know, everyone who is being, you know, who's trying to understand this in a way, who's trying to understand this for, you know, for what it is, and not, you know, not drawing conclusions about it, and not being an opportunist about it. I mean, I really do appreciate it, because I mean, I feel like I'm a genuine person, and I feel like when people when people want to put things in a certain when people want to try and put things in a certain into a certain, or paint me in a certain light, you know, I take that personally, because you're painting me as a person in a certain light, and I haven't done the same to you. So if you do that to me, you know, you know, that's now a personal thing. You know what I mean? That's not, you know, that's not fun. You know what I mean? And again, I've got thick skin, so I don't get offended easily by any stretch of the imagination. But, you know, who wants their name to be called out and then be put, you know, described as being this or that. I mean, you know, Jeremy has to deal with that. You know what I mean? And Jeremy, you know, he's been doing this for a while, and he has to deal with that. And I know that, I know that he understands it so much more now than he did when he first got into doing this. And he handles it like a champ a lot of the time. So, you know, I've been on YouTube a year, you know, I do have a good understanding of dealing with people, but you know, the internet is a rough place at times. So, you know, sometimes you deal with shit, the best way you can, you know what I mean? Let's see here. All right. We got digital waffles for $2. Digital waffles says everyone on stream was a weenie. Kiwi Farms wins. Okay, I hear you, brother. I hear you. Digital waffles. I hear you. Hear what you're talking about. So, you know, I guess at the end of the day, you know, just kind of bring this whole thing full circle. You know, it's a lesson learned for many reasons. Just for me, one reason is it's be more thorough in making sure that you know, the scene is set so that things can work out and be successful without hiccups. You know, we worked really hard on this on getting this charity stream together, and you know, at the end of the day, you know, we have to deal with things as they come, and you know, the next time that we get into doing, you know, anything where we're working with an individual who's a high profile person, we just want to make sure that things are handled in a smoother fashion. Now, you know, does that mean everything's always going to go right? No, doesn't. But we do what we can to make sure that in response to that, we are balanced in how we react. That's really what it boils down to as far as this situation is concerned. But I really do. Okay, Butter Biscuit for $2. Butter Biscuit says, please see my above comment. Okay, let me look up. Butter Biscuit, there you are. Let me see. He says he's still at the behest of WB. His statements have now been used in hit pieces by Hollywood type. I mean, someone who's compromised. Without Hollywood guys, you are allowed to be you. But you see, this is, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your comment, Butter Biscuit. But this is where I don't agree with what you say. Everybody, you say he's at the behest of WB. Well, he has a job. I had a job. If you have, you have a job. Everybody who has a job, you are at the behest of the people who pay you or the people who are in charge of what you're doing. Like that's not really speaking to anything that has to do with Hollywood guys, quote unquote. He's got a job. His livelihood is making films. That's how he supports his family. As a football player, I played, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars provided my livelihood. I am at the behest of the Jaguars. Throughout my career, that's what it's like. I was at the behest of the Jaguars. So if I'm going, to, if it's, and this is something constantly dealt with in football. If it's a Friday night, or if it's a Saturday night and we got a game on Sunday, on Saturday night, we're in a hotel. We're in the team hotel, and we're not allowed to go nowhere. If I go somewhere on Saturday night, there's going to be consequences because they pay me and I need to be able to perform for them. And if I'm making a decision or doing something that they don't deem to be productive towards me being able to perform, then they're going to make me pay for that one way or another. They have the ability to do that, or they literally could just end their entire relationship with me and I no longer have a job. So it's not being at the behest, it's that you work for somebody. You know what I mean? You work for somebody. Like nobody, it's at a certain point your hands are tied. Because now at a certain point you're playing with your career. How many people, look, that's why there is no such thing as free speech within the work environment. There is no your constitutional right to free speech is only free speech from a government body censoring you. It has nothing to do with you working in the field of where private companies operate. So that company can decide to handle you any way they please if you do something that is in violation of protocols that they have set and that you have agreed to abide by because you work for them. I also think that is where a certain disconnect is in our society today, that if we could all understand these things a little bit more, people would think more before they do things. People would think more before they say things because they understand you are not free to literally say what you want without there being consequences. There will be consequences, good or bad. Consequences, and outcomes can be good or bad. It doesn't always mean that you're going to get, fired or anything, but you definitely can there's definitely going to be a reaction. So, you know, again, man, I mean, I appreciate the comment, Butter. You already, you know, I appreciate you, but I'm just saying that doesn't, what you're saying doesn't really, it's not really speaking to the point of why, of where you're trying to place that a Hollywood type means that their like agenda is strictly against, you know, any certain thing. I mean, when you got a job, you got a job. Cadus for £5, or is that 5? Yeah, that's £5. I don't see a comment there, but I do appreciate I do appreciate that. Appreciate that £5 that you just gave me right there, brother. Yeah, guys, no, I really do appreciate everybody being in the chat. Appreciate you guys very much for being in here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I will just say, you know, that again, we did something really good yesterday. We did something really, really amazing, and that is a testament to all of you and the support that you showed. And it really does say a lot that you guys do care about this cause. And yes, the drama was the drama, but at the end of the day, it was about raising money, and we did a great job of that. I mean, we literally hit over 100,000, all things combined. It was phenomenal. We got Zack Snyder, we got Ray Porter, we got Joe Manganiello. Like, we had Deathstroke, Deathstroke and Darkseid on the stream. Like that was cool, man. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And I think that, it really, all things considered, it was an excellent stream. Any amount of money we can raise for a cause like this is good, and it is worthy. And, we should all be proud, that we're helping literally save lives. And that is in turn, we are helping make this world a better place. So with all that being said, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in here, checking me out, hanging out. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribed. And much love to everybody, and I will catch you all on the next stream. Peace.